back to the Road to Episode 7, my ongoing series where I chart the road to the release of Star Wars Episode 7 in 2015. This video is kind of just tying up a lot of loose ends and kind of just bits and pieces of news I've kind of collected over the past month or two. So I'll just get right into it. The first one is just an example of Disney really trying to milk as much as they can out of Star Wars, and hey, if they paid for it, you know, I'm not calling them out on that. You know, they should be doing that. Where was it? There was a Disney brochure handed out at the European Brand Licensing Show recently that reveals that not only are we getting Rebels, which is a new kind of TV show that they're doing, animated show, and other LEGO Star Wars items, but there are some Darth Vader themed specials coming to Disney XD. The plurality of specials makes us think that these will be something akin to the Yoda Chronicles, the cartoons which recently aired on the Disney XD network. So you know, it says here, you know, we don't know if it's going to be the specials are going to be live action or animated. I would say they're going to be animated, but you know, the focus on being Darth Vader is is news to everyone basically. But very interesting that also in the same brochure it's listed that Star Wars Episode 7 will have a release date of spring or summer 2015. We've heard everything about the original, you know, traditional May release, and whether or not Episode 7 would be released then or not, but it really seems like that they're pushing to get out at least in the summer. So it'll be interesting to see what the actual release date will be. So yeah, I would say probably they're gonna wait until at least the end of summer, because you've got the Avengers, and that's kind of under the Disney banner too. I don't think they want to compete against each other. They want to have a solid couple of months for Avengers and probably a solid couple of months for Star Wars to just clean up in 2015. Also announced is that Dan Mindell announced at an event called, interestingly enough, ASC Breakfast with Dan Mindell, that he'll be joining J.J. Abrams on Star Wars Episode 7. Dan Mindell previously collaborated with Abrams on Mission Impossible 3 as the director of photography, and was the cinematographer of the last two Star Trek films, Star Trek and Star Trek Into Darkness. Mindell has also worked on other films such as John Carter, Enemy of the State, and G.I. Jane. It was also revealed at the event that Star Wars Episode 7 will be shot on 35mm Kodak film stock. That is fucking awesome. It's not going to be shot digitally like the prequels were. I would say that Episode 1 is the worst looking film in the whole series in terms of, you know, the film and everything. I do really like the way Episode 3 looks. Even though it's digital, I think it just looks immaculate. Episode 2 is kind of good, but for me, film is just so much better than any digital alternative, so I'm really happy that they've made the decision to shoot this thing on 35mm. And again, the guy, you know, who's going to be doing the cinematography, or as the director of photography, I'm not sure actually what he's going to be doing, whether he'll be the DP or the cinematographer. Either way, you know, I think that the Star Trek films, I haven't seen them, but what I have seen, they do look fantastic. And John Carter, I was a huge fan of, especially the look of that film. So, and that film actually made me think this is like a new Star Wars. So I think that really works as well. And obviously Abrams is going to want someone who's familiar with, so that's cool. Mindell told a story at that event where Abrams saw a mistake lens flare while viewing the dailies of a movie they were doing, and Mindell was the one who showed him how the lens flares were made, and since then Abrams has used the lens flares ad nauseum. So you can blame Mindell for that. Now I'll get back to the kind of the filmic aspect of Star Wars. There's another quote I want to talk about. J.J. Abrams recently spoke to Entertainment Weekly, and they want to know which previous Star Wars film would be the best example of the tone and spirit of the movie that he intends to make, you know, with Star Wars Episode 7. He says, "It's impossible for me to say because it's going to be an evolving thing. I would say we were working really hard to make a movie that feels as emotional and authentic and as exciting as possible. Whatever your favourite Star Wars movie is and how to compare it is really sort of subjective." I agree with that. He says, "It's been nice to see how important it is and to be reminded how important it is to so many people. We all know that George's dream has become almost a religion to some people. I remember reading a thing somewhere where someone wrote about just wanting the film to feel real, to feel authentic, and I remember I felt that way when I was 11 years old when I saw the first film. As much of a fairy tale as it was, it felt real, and to me that is exactly right." So yeah, again, emphasizing the use of practical sets and effects and not filming in digital is a huge step in the right direction as far as I'm concerned. and the 3D issue. Is Star Wars Episode 7 going to be shot in 3D? I have a feeling it will, or it'll definitely be post-converted. And I don't really mind. It's just one of those things that's going to happen. It's the way that the Hollywood system works now, you know. It's just, it's inevitable to avoid that kind of thing. But yeah, basically, let me just get the thing right. The IMAX CEO, Richard Gelfond, makes it sound as if Abrams may be shooting some sequences of Star Wars in the large format, which would make for some epic viewing as the film hits theaters. He is quoted as saying this: "We are talking to J.J. Abrams and his team now about the next Star Wars being used with partly IMAX cameras." Awesome! Star Wars in IMAX sounds absolutely incredible. Brilliant. For me, 3D, ugh. IMAX, yes. More IMAX, less 3D. You know, it's just, there's no comparison. 3D for me has never enhanced the film. IMAX for me has enhanced viewing experiences, particularly in the Dark Knight trilogy, or the Dark Knight and the Dark Knight Rises. So that'd be great if we get some scenes in IMAX, and they always look incredible. I'm just a big fan of IMAX, and after Christopher Nolan has kind of championed the format in the Dark Knight trilogy, it was only a matter of time before another big studio was going to take that chance, and I feel that Disney will do that, or at least Abrams will push for it. But yeah, I'm sure that 3D is probably going to be something that's going to factor into it, unfortunately. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. No, that was it. I'll leave it at that for now. There's just so much, I've got so much saved, you know, there's so much information to take in, and I haven't really got it all organised. But that was basically the stuff I wanted to talk about, just tying up some loose ends of things like that. So for me, IMAX shooting on film is a huge relief, and I'm really excited for how it's all going to look. So thank you for watching, and join me for the next one.